Well, hello there. How are you doing today? Do you feel like doing a little bit of DIYing with me today? Well, come on in. Let's get started. What do I have going on for you for today? Well, it's that time of year where I really get into decorating my front porch. And so far you all have seen so much porch decor, but what you haven't seen is door decor. I love decorating my door. We can't leave that out. And so today I'm going to show you some door decor that you can do using items that you can get at the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to quit my gabbing. Let's jump into it and let's do some porch decor DIYing on a budget. Yep, because that's what we do here. Who is today's KB Creations Crafter of the Day? You'll want to stick around to the end of the video to see if it's your creation that's being featured in today's video. If you're interested in being featured as a Crafter of the Day in one of my videos, submit a picture of one of your recreations of a DIY that I've done to either Facebook or Instagram. If you want to DM it to me, you can. Then you just simply have to look out for the end of each video to see if it's your DIY that I will be featuring in that given video. For today's DIY, I'll be using some fabric. Orange, black, purple, and white to be exact. These are 2-yard fabric cuts that you can find at Walmart. You're gonna pay about $4.98 for them. I know it's a lot of fabric, but I like to keep fabric in my stash because I use it often in my DIYs. I'm not going to use 2 yards of each today, but I will use some. Using my peeking shears, I went ahead and cut strips that are about 3.5 inches wide by 10 inches long. And I use the peeking shears just as a decorative edge purpose. I'm going to take my pieces and I am going to tie them in a knot. Now, I sat down in my bed and I just cut my fabric. I wasn't looking for perfection. Went ahead and tied my knots just like this, and I did that to all the pieces. So once I've got all my pieces good and cut just like this, again, you're not looking for perfection, I'm gonna pull out this floral wreath board. You can find this at Dollar Tree. It's got a bunch of holes in it. These are fun to use in making wreaths. You'll see the dots along, or the holes along the outside edge here. To those holes, I'm gonna use some of Dollar Tree's zip ties. I'm not too worried about the color, picked up a couple packs, and I'm just gonna weave the zip ties into the holes and close them up just like you see me doing here. And I'm gonna put one zip tie in each hole, but each hole will end up having 2 zip ties, if that makes any sense. Now, when you put the zip ties in, you don't wanna fully tighten it up. You kinda wanna leave a hole there, because guess what we're gonna put there? Yes, the fabric. Now, when I did cut the fabric, I will tell you, I already knew what order I wanted to put the fabric in, what color order, I guess you can say. And so I went ahead and I counted the dots so I knew exactly how many pieces of each color fabric to cut, if that makes any sense. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so this is what it will look like once you have all your zip ties in. Then you can see that I can take my fabric knots and I can place them into each of the zip ties, then tightening up the zip tie. So what is the purpose of the knot? The purpose of the knot is so when we tighten down that zip tie, the fabric isn't gonna slide out of the zip tie. If you don't put a knot, the fabric will get pulled out because the floral board is plastic, so it's a smoother surface, and it just kind of happens that way. So you do want to tie a knot in your fabric, so that way you can just zip tie it down and your fabric is going to stay in place. Once you've got your fabric placed, you are going to need to cut off those zip tie tails. We don't want those left behind, and I find the easiest way to do that is just to use some wire cutters. And yes, this is a pretty repetitive DIY. I went ahead and placed zip ties in that second row, and the second row is going to be the purple fabric. Yep, and it'll look just like that. Looking pretty cool so far, right? Right. Moving on to the third row. Yeah, we're not done yet. You'll notice once you hit the third row of holes on this plastic wreath board that the holes get a bit farther apart. When that happens, you're gonna notice that one piece of fabric isn't gonna be enough because then you're gonna have gaps in your fabric. So to remedy that problem, I just put 2 pieces of fabric in each zip tie because I want my wreath to be nice and full and fluffy. The look I'm kind of going for is that torn fabric look, even though I used peaking shears. I just love the look of uneven fabric, and so I think it's a fun alternative to some of maybe like the mesh or ribbon that can be used on these boards from Dollar Tree. Okay, we're going places with this. I am liking how it looks so far. This is gonna be the last row here in the center, and again, right, it's not repetitive. I'm gonna add my zip ties. And again, I am going to place 2 pieces of now orange fabric in each of the zip ties. Now, when I cut these, I didn't really know what size I needed as I built the wreath, as I kind of went from the outside in, starting with the black, then the purple and the white, then the orange. And so I wasn't really worried about how long to cut each of the pieces. I just figured once I got the pieces in, I would then go in, if need be, with my peaking shears and trim up each of the rows so the color shows equally above it in each of the rows. Switching gears a bit, Dollar Tree has these DIY roundwood plaques. This one says home. From time to time when I use them, I get subscribers telling me that they really don't like picking these up and DIYing them because they find that it's a bit of a headache to paint them because of all of the little nooks and crannies there where the word home is. My solution to that is I just do my base coat first, and if I get it on the word, so be it. I'm not looking for perfection. The word itself is easy to paint. And so you can see that I'm gonna slap the paint on and I'm gonna get in those nooks and crannies whichever way I can to get the coverage that I need, because once I've got that base coat down, look how easy it is to paint. Once you've got the coverage you're happy with on the base coat, that back part of the plaque, it makes it super easy to go in with a smaller paintbrush, and because the word is elevated, you can easily paint the word. I'm gonna go in with one of Apple Barrel's purples. Ask me which purple it is. I couldn't tell you because I'm not even showing it to you and I'm doing the voiceover later. But you can see how I'm painting this and how easy it is to do. You're gonna find these aluminum words, Halloween words, at Dollar Tree right now. They come in a 3-pack. I believe I used Haunted the other day, maybe, or yeah, I did. I used Haunted the other day. I had 2 more. I had Spooky and Beware, and I thought that Spooky would be perfect to add to this plaque saying Spooky Home to add to my wreath, right? Because why not? We've got it. We're utilizing what we have. We're making it cute, and we're making our own porch decor. Or today, we're making our own Halloween door decor. Wreath, yeah, that's what we're doing. And I am applying the paint to these aluminum words with a sponge dabber because you're gonna get full coverage in just about 1 or 2 coats if you're using Apple Barrel, because it is a thinner paint. If you're using a paint like Waverly, you're gonna get coverage, full coverage in 1 coat, but use a sponge dabber, not a paintbrush. You're not gonna have brush strokes. You're gonna get texture instead, so it's a win-win. I was looking at this plaque and I was thinking, self, it's missing something. It is most definitely missing something. Those edges are not finished off. This doesn't look like a finished plaque. What better way to finish it off with, none other than some of my stitching. So I'm gonna go in with some black paint and add some stitching just to kind of make the stitching pop and incorporate some of the black into this plaque as well. I'm not incorporating any orange because the fabric is orange and this plaque is going to set on the orange, and unless I get the perfect color orange, I feel like it is not going to blend nicely. So yeah, for the plaque, I was kind of staying away from the orange, and that's kind of one of those tricks of the trade, a tip when DIYing. If you do a wreath like this, whatever your last color is, you really don't want to incorporate that into the center of the plaque that you're adding, because it just kind of clashes. So you want to use the 3 other colors in that plaque that are, yeah, the farthest away from the plaque, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I just made a deal out of that and went on a tangent, but you get what I'm saying, I hope. To the back of this plaque, I'm gonna hit it or pound it with a ton of hot glue. I am using a high heat, high temperature hot glue because I find that I get better results with that versus a low temperature. The glue sticks a bit better. I'm using Gorilla Glue sticks because I've seen great results with them. And yeah, this plaque, it's just gonna stick to the center of the fabric there that is stuck to the plastic wreath board. And would you look at how cool this is looking already? Yeah. I'm gonna hit the aluminum word with a bit of hot glue and I'm gonna place it right above the home, giving us a plaque that says Spooky Home. And I did forget to fill in the hole on this plaque. Shame on me. How did I do that? Oh my goodness, I ended up doing it later. I was thinking I would use this raffia bow to cover it up, but I wanted to offset it instead of placing it in the middle. And so yeah, a black raffia bow is the perfect way to finish this off, adding a bit of embellishment. Let's go take a look at this wreath on my front door. It is fun, it's quick, it's easy, it's budget friendly, and yes, look at the outcome. We just DIY'd our own wreath on a budget, making it to suit our decor style. These are such versatile pieces, really. They can be done in any style just by simply changing up the fabric. My Halloween porch definitely needs a candy corn wreath, so I'm gonna do that using this floral board that you can get at Dollar Tree and some burlap. And guess what? I have this burlap in my stash, so it is a win for me. A very budget-friendly DIY. You can get this burlap at Walmart. I wanna say it's about $3.97 a roll. I'm gonna cut my pieces into 6-inch pieces just like that. Ask me how many I cut. I couldn't tell you, I didn't count, but I am gonna cut several, and yeah, that's what I'm gonna be using. And I'm gonna do that with the yellow and the orange. You know what? I didn't end up using the white. I just used the yellow and orange. Those 6-inch burlap pieces that we cut, we're gonna gather them in the middle and just kind of twist and fold it in half just like so. Then it's gonna slide right in to our zip tie just like this, and you're just gonna put about a 1/2 inch in there. You're gonna tighten up that zip tie good and tight, and it's gonna hold your burlap piece right onto the wreath board. And this here is what your wreath board should look like. You've got a space in between each burlap piece, and that is how you want it. Now we're gonna skip a row and we're gonna go to that 3rd row. We're gonna feed that zip tie through the hole, but in this row, we are going to feed the zip tie through each hole, if that makes any sense. Each hole is gonna have 2 zip ties because we don't want that space in between our burlap pieces. We're gonna get this wreath nice and full, and it's gonna look amazing, and so you just gotta do what I'm doing and you'll have the same outcome. And ta-da! Just like that, we've got our 2nd row, and you can see that there is no space in between each of the burlap pieces. Now for this next row, which would be the 4th row, I'm gonna feed the zip ties through each hole just like I did with the last row. So there will be 2 zip ties in each hole. And this will be our last row of burlap pieces that we are adding to this wreath. These wreaths are so super easy to do. They're budget friendly and the outcome is amazing. I love adding these to my front door. So I say, go pick up a couple of these plastic wreath boards at Dollar Tree and make some wreaths for each of the seasons and holidays just like I am, because they're fun. This row I'm gonna switch it up a bit and I'm gonna add some of the orange burlap. Remember, it's candy corn themed. Yes. This homewood plaque is the perfect size for this wreath. I'm gonna flip it over because I don't need the home. As much as I love the home, it's not gonna work for this Halloween one. I just need the back side. This is the perfect size for this wreath board. Dollar Tree does have a larger wood round, but it's way too big. So I'm just gonna go with this one. And with this one, it's gonna get a nice good coating of some white chalk paint. And it's gonna get this too. Surprise, surprise. Creature of habit. Enough said. These aluminum words that are attached to the wood base are one of my favorite pieces to incorporate into a DIY. In the beginning, I didn't buy them for a while because they were attached and I was kind of put off by the base. But then I realized that I really liked the font on these words and that I could easily incorporate them into my DIYs by adding some wood cubes to the back of them, which is going to elevate them, which is then going to what? Let's say it together, add dimension. So I went ahead, I painted it orange, and to this, yes, some stitching as well, just to make the word hello pop and give it more of that Halloween feel. These bat DIY pins, oh my word, these are perfect for this wreath, but I'm gonna remove the clothespin because I don't need it. I'm gonna give these cute little fellas a good coating of some black chalk paint. Guess what time it is? It's my favorite part of every DIY, putting this all together. I'm gonna place my hello word on my white plaque. I'm gonna add a couple of these bats to it. And then this plaque here is gonna go smack dab in the center of my burlap wreath. Now, I'm gonna forewarn you that I didn't press record when I hot glued this plaque to the wreath, but you will see it in the end and you will see that I did add a black raffia bow as well. Let's go take a look. These wood stands are stands that I found at Michael's. They were on clearance for $10. Yep, folding wood stand, which means it's double-sided. I picked up about 10 of them. If you don't have one of these, you can pick up 4 of these Dollar Tree plaques. You're gonna need some jumbo popsicle sticks. You're gonna glue 2 of the plaques together side by side. Then you're gonna glue 2 more together side by side, and you're going to stack the 4 plaques, giving you what would look very similar to the stand that I have. So this would be the way of doing it outside of using one of these folding stands, and you're gonna get the same look. You're just gonna have to lean it up against your house. Since I've got the folding stand, I've got several of them because I wanted to do one for each season or holiday. This one, since it's Halloween, I'm going with that candy corn theme, the yellow, orange, white, and black. So at the bottom, I'm gonna start off with the yellow, and I am using some of Waverly's Maze. And there in the middle, this is candy corn, so I'm gonna go with some of that rustic orange. And each of these blocks of color I am doing as even as I can. I'm not going the step of measuring because I feel like when you do a piece like this, the more imperfect it is, the more perfect it is. And so it just kind of adds personality to it, that homemade, handmade touch that I like. And my candy corn sign, well, it's gonna be topped off with some white. After I got a good couple coats on this sign, getting that coverage that I'm happy with, I'm gonna go back in where each of the colors meet. I'm gonna add another coat of paint, but when I add this paint, I'm gonna blend the 2 colors to give it that blended look so the line isn't so harsh. And I'm gonna do that with the white and orange, and up there at the top with the orange and the yellow, making it a smoother transition from color to color. And to this candy corn sign, let's add the word spooky, because why not? It's cute, right? And I'm gonna do that using a stencil. Stencils, they're a great alternative to a vinyl or a sticker. They're budget friendly and they're reusable. So it's a win-win. When I work with stencils, I like to use a spray adhesive on the back of them. Loctite has a repositionable lightweight spray adhesive that when you spray it on the back of your stencil, when you take that stencil off, it leaves no residue. What's great also about using a spray adhesive when you're working with your stencils is your stencil isn't gonna pull up as you're dabbing, to where if you use a painter's tape, you get that stencil kind of moving around just a bit and you risk getting more bleedage. You can definitely get the job done using painter's tape, but you might need to go in and do a bit of fine tuning once you pull those stencils up. I like to use a sponge dabber when applying my paint to a stencil because it does help with the bleedage. You get a bit of texture and the coverage is, I would say, more even. Once the paint is good and dry, look for the satisfaction in this when we peel the stencil up. Oh my goodness. It's gonna come out just about perfect because why? Because we use the spray adhesive. Look at that. I love working with stencils. It's one of my favorite means to work with because it's cheap and it's budget friendly. And did I tell you? They're reusable. Oh yeah, I did tell you that, huh? Dollar Tree's got wood ornaments. They're DIY wood ornaments. I love them. I picked up these sets. You can see that I did use some of that spackling to fill in those pesky holes. And to all four of these, yep, they're gonna get a good coating of Waverly's ink. Because it's Halloween. We need to add some contrast, some black to these DIYs. I added stitching to these pieces. Didn't show you because once you've seen it in one DIY, it goes the same for all of them. And these cute pieces, I added a Jenga block to the back of because there weren't really any elevated pieces on this sign. And I feel like these pieces act like fun accent pieces to this spooky candy corn Halloween sign. Look at how fun that is. Quick, easy, budget friendly, and it's gonna go perfect on my porch. Let's go take a look. Who is today's KB Creations Crafter of the Day? Well, it's going out to Davita Mitchell, who's bringing to us her recreation of my Dollar Tree DIY Arrow Halloween wall decor piece. Davita, thank you so much for sharing your recreation with us today. If you are new to my channel, I love wreaths. Putting a wreath on my door is one of my favorite things to do. And I would say that I have a wreath on just about every door in my house, not on the inside, on the outside, because I love them so much. They're so fun to make and you can really get creative doing them. I think that these wreath boards from Dollar Tree are such a fun way to add decor to your front door on your porch, and I love the way these turned out. I hope you all enjoyed today's DIY door wreath decor pieces. If you're looking for more DIY inspiration, well, guess what? You can click on the video right over here and it'll take you to some of my past favorites. Until next time, everybody, I hope you have a fantastic day. Happy crafting on a budget. Stay happy, stay safe, stay healthy. But most of all, you know what I'm gonna say? Stay positive, please, because I am. Bye for now, everybody.